You are now live with Dylan Kimlin. Hello, this is Dylan Kimlin and you're currently live with DK. I'm currently sitting down with one of the OGs of the Australian pickleball scene. Pretty legendary fella who's been involved in, organising and instrumental in building up the Australian pickleball scene, working alongside BPC, which is the Brisbane Pickleball Club, Pickleball Queensland and Pickleball Australia. It's none other than Mark Jagger. Hello, Mark.
Good
How are we
afternoon.
doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thank you for coming. Would you like to give a bit of an introduction to yourself and sort of who you are?
Yeah, no problem. Like Dylan said, I'm Mark Jagger. I love the game pickleball. Obviously, I'm obsessed with pickleball. I learned pickleball about 7 years ago, and I learned it in Thailand with expat community over there from the US and from Canada. Enjoyed the game so much. Unfortunately, when I got back to Australia, it hadn't even started here yet.
Yeah.
And after doing a lot of research, found out two people, one in Cairns and one in Brisbane, who played pickleball.
Okay.
Got together with those. One of them was Lorraine Christensen.
Okay, yep.
So we then got together, started playing, and then decided to take it bigger.
Go from there. Yeah, that's amazing. And I think, for anyone that's been involved in regards to, the organisational side of things of pickleball, Mark's just mentioned Lorraine, who, she's pretty much started pickleball in Australia. Shout out to Lorraine if you're watching. But BPC has had some absolutely huge figures as presidents. Like you mentioned, Lorraine, I'm pretty sure Jen Rammer was president at some stage.
That's correct, yeah.
James Charlie, who's been involved in policy and procedure for PAA for a long time now. As well as Steve Rogerson, who was huge with building up and the expansion. Deb Rossi, who was just one of the elite female players, and now yourself taking on the role. I think BPC has always sort of, in my opinion, it's always been a bit of an underrated club. You guys don't get talked about much. You got huge memberships. What members?
We've currently got about 350 active members.
That's crazy. Here I am starting on Morayfield, and we're lucky. We have no members. We just have people coming to play, and we're happy with that. But you guys have actual members. It's crazy to think of that. And so you said you started playing 7 years ago. Is that about how old BPC is, or are they?
BBC is probably about 6 years, probably a year after I started. Lorraine and I started Brisbane Pickleball Club.
Yeah.
And obviously from then there was 4 people to today's numbers, which is 350, and
That's
continues
mental.
to grow. It's amazing.
So it's fair to say that, I know you, Lorraine, I know Jen was very instrumental in the early days. You guys sort of started pickleball in Australia.
Yeah, basically.
That's wild. That's crazy considering how much it's exploded. Okay, so let's talk about Brisbane Pickleball Club and sort of who you are, what you sort of do. Because like I said, I feel you guys don't get talked about enough, considering how big you are.
Yeah.
Let's talk venues, because obviously you're a bit unique in a club structure in that you have lots of places to play.
That's correct.
Whereas most clubs, especially in the American scene, they just have one location.
That's right. Yeah.
So where do you guys sort of play?
So currently we play around about 148 sessions a week. A month. That can be anywhere from the Gap over to UQ, through to Albion, indoor sports there. We have most of our games are played there.
Yep.
And we have some in the region between, I think, 300 and 400 players go to these sessions in a month.
Yeah.
Obviously some are members and some are not members. Brisbane Pickleball Club, I suppose, is unique, as you say. One of the things is with Brisbane Pickleball Club is the fact that we're such a huge club in respect of venue-wise. We just have one venue.
Yep.
We have got multiple venues. And Brisbane Pickleball's job, I suppose, is to maintain, grow the sport with other venues that keep coming up, but also maintain the venues for our members to keep sessions running.
Benefit from.
Yeah,
and I think that's a very fair point. It's almost it's such a difficult thing that you guys can pull off, and credit. I know Jenny's been flat out with running the sort of the venue side of things. An amazing effort on her behalf, but the fact that you guys have to have healthy relationships with all venue owners.
That's right.
For anyone that's been involved with being involved in a club or being involved in a structural point of view with managing people, you know how difficult it is. These guys manage how many venues have you got? Just off the
About 17 venues now.
That just sounds like a mighty headache to me, but you guys do it so well, and you've done it so well for a long time. So
I mean, obviously, people have set it up in the past. I'm stepping into a position where.
But I mean, you just mentioned the Gap. Yeah. That's obviously a new venue that you brought on board. Are there any in the last 6 months? Don't you guys have a rooftop venue as well? Like some of
we used to use Somerville House over on South Bank there. The only time we could get the venue was a Sunday afternoon, and it's pretty hard to get people to play Sunday afternoon. They're getting ready for the week of work. And
I'm usually cooking up a roast or something at that point. So, all right, fair enough. So, regarding BPC, so obviously it's not only the huge amount of numbers and the successful growth within the sport itself and that sort of heritage legacy club, because I've always deemed BPC, Noosa, and I guess you got some clubs in the Gold Coast Pickleball Club probably. You guys are legacy clubs. You've been there from the start.
Yeah.
And now you guys are huge. Let's talk, I guess, it's not only just from a beginner to intermediate player perspective. You guys are also running tournaments non-stop.
That's correct.
Do you find, as a tournament organizer, and you've also been a sponsor to tournaments, how do you find the tournament scene is from a Brisbane Pickleball Club point of view? Have you guys always got members playing at events? You've always got...
Obviously we have sanctioned events. We have I think it's 3 sanctioned events each year, but we keep putting on new events each year as well. Basically, we like everybody to come and play, but there's a couple of small events that we like just for our Brisbane Pickleball members. We love to get them all together so they can all meet each other, and then hopefully swap venues. Go, I'll come to your venue, you come to mine, and just integrate everybody together.
I think that's amazing. Yeah, especially considering the growth of the sport is so nuts right now that this is sort of how we all have to work. That if we all get along together and build as a group, the sport benefits, and so do the players. No, that's awesome to hear. And I guess from a club point of view, so obviously you're a president. For anyone that doesn't or has never been in a committee or a club, do you want to sort of give a rundown of what are the sort of responsibilities?
Listen, the committee is elected by its members. You can put a nomination in, and hopefully you get nominated to be on a committee. It's a really strong role. People have put you there in a position to for support for the club, to help the club grow. As we've said, to create new venues. But it's also, there's a lot of work goes in the background that people probably wouldn't know about. Just talking to sponsors, trying to get sponsors, dealing with insurances, there's just so many roles and so many hats, and that's why we have a different level of committee members, from general to treasurer to president to secretary. They've all got strong roles to do.
They're essential. And I'm on the very fair opinion that you need to be educated in an opinion before you should have said opinion talked about. And I think it's very fair to say anyone that's actually been involved within Pickleball Australia knows that you are definitely up there as one of the most experienced people in the Australian scene. What kind of roles have you had? Just if you could list the...
All right. So generally, when I first started Brisbane Pickleball Club off, which, like I say, is probably between 6 and 7 years ago, I then, obviously the sport was growing, I moved into another role, which was General Committee for PAA, which is Pickleball Australia. I absolutely felt, which were honoured to be on that role, but I needed to get back down to club level a little bit closer to club level, so I could felt I was doing more. So I jumped into PAQ, which is Pickleball Queensland. Same again, I was really honoured to be on that role, and once again just felt I wasn't with the people.
Yeah.
So, and then I moved back down to Brisbane Pickleball Club.
Yeah. I think that's definitely fair, and I felt that myself. I've been on PAQ as well, and it's you do get that vibe that sometimes you're behind the scenes.
That's
you know,
right.
you don't necessarily get the recognition you probably deserve. Especially, I know how much work you put in. The getting back onto the floor and actually helping out the people again, the players. It's a you enjoy it again.
That's correct. Yeah.
You find that passion again. So I totally respect that, and I think. Any player that's been involved in sessions with Mark would know how much of a wonderful person he is. But it's not only that; you've been instrumental within sort of the financial side of things, building up Pickleball, finding sponsors and stuff.
That's
like that.
correct. Yeah.
For tournaments, for the guys at home who have played tournaments, you're probably wondering, tournaments are a bit expensive. Can you give us a general rundown, like not talking out of school or anything, but how much does a tournament usually cost?
Listen, the biggest expense of a tournament is usually the hire of the courts or the venue itself, because we generally, the tournaments run over 2 days.
Yeah.
So that could be like 2 days hire. It can be thousands of dollars a day to hire venues. That's generally the biggest cost. And then the other things is in like we have to have first aid there. We like to give back, so when we bring sponsors in, and then we usually give little gift bags away, for our sponsors. But they help pay for a lot of these things as just like the cost to enter the competitions.
Yep.
We don't use that as profit. It's to cover the cost of
exactly
running
right.
and things like that.
And I think a lot of people don't realise this. As someone who's been a tournament director myself, clubs, state bodies, national bodies barely make it over the line with tournaments, and I think it's crazy to consider that, considering how expensive some tournaments are, a bit too expensive. Calling you guys out, it's a bit too expensive.
Yes.
But general rule of thumb, it's the clubs are only making a couple $100 if that.
Yeah.
So, so I guess that's from a tournament perspective, and that's just another role you've had, has been instrumental in getting that financial point of view. So, if we could go back to club committees and sort of, if you're sitting at home wondering, I've got this local club anywhere in Australia or international, I've kind of wanted to help out, but I don't know what I can do. I'll make it real clear. You don't have to be a president, secretary, or treasurer to join a committee. Do you want to give a general rundown of what kind of other things people in your committees might be doing?
So generally, on Brisbane Pickleball Club at the committee, at the minute we have somebody who looks after venues, somebody who looks after tournaments. Mm-hmm. I generally oversee everyday emails and correspondence with other clubs or other bodies. We generally have a committee meeting once a month where everybody gets together. And depending on what's on the agenda for that month is, what we say, like a tournament's coming in, we'll do a subcommittee for tournaments to help out there. So if anybody's ever interested in jumping on board, you don't need to be. It's not one of these things where you have to be there every month on the dot and this, that, and the other.
So let's talk club committees.
Yep.
Okay. So for the viewers at home playing, or the people that play at home. Typically, a committee usually consists of president, secretary, treasurer, and 3 or 4.
Generally 3 or 4.
Other people, yeah.
It's actually probably great if you can have a few. The more you get, the easier the roles are in the committee.
Yeah,
you've got more people that are willing to help out, look after certain things, because there's also things like social media that we haven't covered. And just there's just little roles.
Yeah. And that's the kind of thing that it's so essential. Like, I know Emily and I, because we're more or less just doing stuff for Morayfield, currently getting a committee ready for that.
Yeah.
And it's all the little things. Like, anyone that's run a business that's watching, or anyone that's been involved with management would understand that it's the little things that kill you. It's not the big grand things that everyone knows about. It's the
ordering tape.
Yeah, well, getting balls.
Yeah,
things that you just wouldn't
things
you wouldn't think about. But okay, so if someone was at home like, I wouldn't mind helping out my local team. Like, what is the general responsibility of someone like a secretary? What do they do?
A secretary basically looks after the committee meetings. They generally take the notes for the committee, open the committee, do a lot of everyday things behind the scenes again. I've not been in that role, so...
No, that's okay. No, that's fair enough. And the treasurer is more the financial side of things?
Financial side of it, yeah.
Okay, so if you go with math, maybe something to consider.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that.
No.
But, okay, and you mentioned, so you've got someone who looks after tournaments, you've got someone who looks after social media. Okay. All right, so and you guys meet monthly?
We try and meet monthly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you have any tips, because you've obviously been here from the very start.
Yeah.
Would you have any tips right now for anyone watching that might actually want to start their own club?
Listen, reach out. Reach out to other clubs, find out how they do it. We're all in it together. It's we all love the sport. Everybody will help you grow.
Yeah.
Use PAQ. They've got material that can support starting a club. Same with PAA.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would reach out. It's pretty simple. I mean, it's you just got to have the time to do it to start with. Get yourself a committee, delegate jobs out there, and you'll be fine. But I would reach out to other clubs that have started.
Yeah,
I'd say that's the biggest help.
Yeah, no need to reinvent the wheel. Just reach out. I think it's also relevant to where you are.
Yep.
So, I guess the biggest thing that we find here in Southeast Queensland is that a lot of clubs are very close to each other.
Yeah.
When they could work together.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
But you guys were sort of here at the starts, and that's why you're the big fish in the pond. But if you're a bit more of a rural team, I know various state and national bodies have incentives to assist you with that.
Yeah.
But I guess from a committee perspective, that you kind of need president, secretary, treasurer, couple of committee members, and you're right to go. I know there is a required amount. Yeah. But okay, fair enough. So let's talk about your next event. So obviously BPC they've been doing events for a long time, tournaments for a long time. You guys have an event on next weekend?
Next weekend.
Beautiful. And what is it?
It's a team challenge.
Okay.
So it's generally you get yourself into a team of 4, and you have game.
Yeah. Okay. So is that 2 ladies, 2 men? 2
ladies, 2 men.
Yeah. Beautiful. Okay. And I'm just trying to think because obviously this is a unique team sort of format for a tournament.
Yep.
So is it that if I was playing with you and then 2 other ladies, it would be I'd play 1 game with you, 1 game with this partner, 1 game.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it's just a knockout. Just it's climb a ladder, get to the top.
No, I think that's really cool. It's obviously been done a fair bit here in Australia and definitely over in the States. But do you find this would be the first one of the year, right? Like for this kind of event?
Well, it's Brisbane's first event of the year. Yeah, probably is for Team Challenge. It's probably the first one. Yeah,
cool. And whereabouts is this being played at?
This is being held at Shaw Park.
Yep.
Just at...
Shaw Park.
Shaw Park.
Yeah.
I forgot the suburb.
Shaw Park Road.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clayfield, maybe?
No, it's just down the road. Yeah.
Wollowin, that's correct,
The camera lady's just given us the
Yeah.
stern word there. Okay, and that's an outdoor event. So, regarding the, I suppose, the formats for the event. So, is this just like an open event, or do you have age divisions?
They have level divisions of play. So, if you're a 4-0 or a 3-0 or 3.5, there's different levels to go into.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. And I'm guessing, are you playing or are you running it?
I'm going to help on registration and things.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, give somebody a bit of chance to play.
Imagine being a president. You can't even play in your own tournaments. No, fair enough. Alrighty, well, we'll definitely see you at the event. If anyone's coming down, be sure to reach out to Mark and Eliane.
Come and say hi.
As well as the other people in the bright-coloured BPC clothing.
Yes.
I might be there. We're still sorting out whether I'm covering it or not. So you might see me there as well. Come and say hello. But that's awesome. Thank you so much, Mark, for having chat, and hopefully this was informative for some of the viewers and BPC members as well. Yep. Is there anything you want to shout out to the BPC members? Anything coming up?
Yeah, love to see you all at tournaments, and I'll be around to see you all soon.
Cool.
And get ready for your shirts coming.
Are you organising shirts for everyone?
We're organising free shirt for members.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go, cool. That's something to look forward to. I don't know if I'm still a member or not. I might have to quickly renew it. No, thank you so much, guys. Yeah, thank you so much for that, Mark, and we will see you next time.
Thank you very much.